ang iyong mga mata, nag-iisip kung paano ba kikita. Ipon mong pera, nasasait na ba? Kaliwag kanan na rin bang iyong problema? Let's talk, pag-usapan natin ito. Don't walk, may sasabihin ako sa'yo. Sa SalveSays, iyo ang una. Sa SalveSays, solve ang problema. Lahat walang imposible. Sa SalveSays. Ang problema nyo ay pagnegosyo, halika dito. Makinig sa aking payo, anumang magdiin sa bayan ng panalangin. At huwag mahiya na lumapit sa akin, halika na dito sa SalveSays. Sa SalveSays, iyo ang una. Sa SalveSays, solve ang problema. SalveSays, don't walk, let's talk. Sa SalveSays, let's talk. Don't walk, let's talk.
Oh my God, it's 2021. You move around the numbers a bit and it's 2012, the year when I first met Edric Mendoza and Melissa Hecolea, the two people who witnessed my extreme nervousness for my first ever television episode as show host. We were together for several years in ABS-CBN's On the Money before they left me for their next big thing. And tonight, due to popular demand, we are back together for this reunion episode talking about the hottest topic in town for the week, AXIE Infinity. So to prevent me from crying buckets of sentimental tears is partner for the show and all the other shows on SalveSays YouTube channel, Warren D. Guzman. Warren, please, my friend, come on up.
Hi, Salve. Ito, may tissue ako. Just for you, di ba? I'm sure you're going to be crying a lot. I'm sure you're going to be crying a lot.
Wag masisira makeup ko.
Ang ganda ng chika nyo nga kanina eh. Before we started the show. Grabe.
Nagsimula na agad.
Yeah. So for those of you who are here for the first time, this is the SalveSays channel produced by our company, Empower and Transform, providing financial education to everybody, especially those who need it the most. Now, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. You can click subscribe right now. It's down there below in the YouTube where you can see it. I'm sure everybody knows where it is. Press it now, please. Libre lang yan. When you do so, you are notified every time we have new videos and new live shows. So, importante yan. Don't forget to subscribe.
We want you to play some games with our special guest tonight. That's going to be crazy fun. Sobrang excited na ako. And chime in the comment section on Kumu, Facebook, and YouTube. Ngayon pa lang, marami pong nanonood sa atin din sa YouTube. Sila Lola Dali, si Yana, our 9-year-old investor and saver. Nandyan siya, and a lot of other people. Mamaya magsha-shoutout ako ng mabilis lang. So where we are simulcast the entire time tonight on YouTube, Facebook, and YouTube ulit. Ayan, meron na po. And watched by viewers all over the world. Ayan, si Terence, wait lang. I-show nga natin kung sino yung mga nanonood na from different parts of the world.
Naku, number one dyan si Aris, all the way from Europe, Italy.
Yes! O,
Hello,
diba?
Thanks so much for watching.
Meron tayo mga viewers from UAE. Si
Middle East
Ying.
talaga, marami.
Ayan, si Dolores Dulay from the faraway place of West Avenue on Quezon City.
Layo nun.
Ayan, Jim, buddy ko yan, ha? Okay.
Uy, may new
tapos,
subscriber tayo, si Dean Dessler. Thank you so much.
Alright!
Ayan.
May nag-hello sa'yo, partner, si Tita Dali din.
Hello,
Anyway,
Tita Dali.
so...
Remember, you guys can send your support for our advocacy and financial literacy. Send super stickers, Kumu virtual gifts. I think may mga hearts na. Meron na mga hearts sa Kumu show natin tonight. Whatever else you want to send over, please do. You can also be a collaborator by co-producing or sponsoring our videos. Siguro pwede yung isang guest natin or yung mga guest natin, di ba? Mayayaman naman yung mga yan, eh. Baka gusto nila mag-sponsor ng video.
Grabe, Bakit naman. Budol yun, budol.
Ay, sorry. Hindi pala tayong ganun. Hindi pala tayong ganun. And those who are listening, you can also send in your questions. We will answer them live for you.
Yes. We will also be talking about the hottest game in town with our special guest. You guessed it, AXIE Infinity. Is it a love potion or a money poison? You'll find out later. You'll make your own decisions. We are not going to push anything on anybody, but you will have a lot of information from our special guest today. And please don't forget to ask your questions, because this is the only place on the internet where you can ask directly to the people who usually watch on TV, di ba, Warren?
Absolutely. Ang dami nating guests tonight, di ba? And there's so many experts here in one place at one time. So now is the time to ask the questions. Now, it's time to bring in our special guest, yung pinakaintay ni Salve, Edric Mendoza and Melissa Ecolea. Please come on up. Hi, guys.
Hi! Oh my
Hello.
gosh, it's so good to see you guys again. I can't believe this.
Group hug!
It's been since 2014.
Group hug. There you go.
Grabe, nakakamiss. Thank you, Mel and Edric, for joining us tonight. You know, I just want to show you some requests and testimonials. So the idea for this episode came from a post, actually, and also our common friend, Relly de Guzman, di ba? Sabi niya, mag-reunion episode tayo, and then I posted about it, and we saw a lot of comments talaga ba? Okay, a lot of comments like this, and sinasabi nila, first time sila nanood, grabe, Edric, ikaw pa rin ang hinahanap nila. Nakakamiss panoorin si Sir Edric Mendoza. Talagang yun ang sabi nila. And then, somebody said, years ago, I came across your show on ANC and got hooked on it. Yung isa, sinasabi niya, first, yun ang mga show na pinapanood nila mag-asawa. Can you show the rest, Ralph? And a lot of them said, ito, nakakatawa. I don't know if you remember this. Warren, somebody said, alala ko yung guest nyo na medyo komedyante. Nung lowest point ng buhay nila, binenta niya lahat, walang Jollibee, at pati mga anak daw niya natakot, baka ibenta na raw sila.
Wow.
Do you remember this episode?
Who was that? I'm trying to remember which one that was.
I don't remember.
Tingnan nyo.
Sorry.
Yung guest natin, they remember. And yeah.
Maybe?
Yes.
Yun.
That's the one. Ang galing na Edric. And if
Galing
you
ni Edric.
recall, sabi pa nung iba, when they were still in school daw, their professor actually asked them to watch On the Money episodes as review for exam. Imagine
Oh, wow.
that. So that's amazing. Thank you again for joining us. And I think, Warren, meron kang pakulo for us, no?
Yes, of course. I will be your game master tonight kasi si Salve iyakin yan eh. Ito nga yung tissue. Oh. Ito na, ito na. Ayan na. Get ready, get ready. Sayang naman yung makeup mo. Grabe. Ayan na, ayan na. The good
Thank
times
you,
are
Warren.
on the money. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be playing a couple of games. And those of you who are watching, you can actually participate by writing in the comment section, okay? All right, so we're going to do this really, really quick because we have a lot of guests tonight and we want to get to them right away. Our first game is Bring Me. I will ask for 5 items and you are playing for 100,000 pesos. Biro lang. Wala kaming ganung pera. No, humingi kami ng sponsorship di ba?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
oo. For the love of itong ginagawa natin
For the
ngayon,
love
wala
of.
kaming kinikita dito.
The losers of this game will have to pay for dinner when the 3 of you next meet up.
Okay, game.
Kasama ko ha. Kakain din ako.
The losers have to pay 100,000 pesos.
Hindi.
No, just dinner. Oh my God. Unless you want to pay 100 grand, but I think it's just dinner.
Each, ayun, pwede. Kaya naman yata ni Edric eh.
Yeah, I think Edric, yeah.
Wala yan from Edric Siseo. Okay, game.
Let's go. For our first item, please bring me a piece of clothing you used to wear on the money. Come on.
Okay. Wait, I need to...
Go.
I'm ready.
Edric.
If our former producers are watching this, Patrick or Martha Isa, they hated me wearing this jacket. I'm just saying, they hated it.
Bakit?
See, I still have
Edric.
this...
Oo nga. Bakit ayaw nila niyan, Edric?
Too much too informal.
Too casual.
Okay.
Ako meron. Pero obviously, hindi na ako magkasya dito.
Ayun. Okay. So,
So,
I'm sorry, Mel. Mel, you lost the first round. You took the
I
longest.
have a dress. I had to go get my dress.
I know. For some reason, the other guys are prepared.
And
I don't know why.
I still wear this dress, by the way. My old sponsor still gets like mileage, although they don't say. They don't get named.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, next.
The next item. Perfume that you used to wear.
Okay,
when you were taping the show.
I took this.
Oh, there you go. Salve,
I still use it.
I never
Ako, loser.
Wait a second, is that perfume? That's deodorant.
Oh yeah, that's deodorant, dude. No.
I'm showing the only scent on my body.
Are we gonna accept that? Direct? I think we're gonna have to give the L to Edric.
Hey, what are the other things?
Okay, let's move on. The next thing, your favorite picture of the 3 of you.
Wait.
I sent you. You have it. Salva has it. I don't know how to. I can't post it from here. That's the one.
Susie.
I also shared that one.
Okay, all right.
No, but Salva, you have mine. I can't post. I can't I'm using my phone. Sorry.
Okay.
I think this is Mel's.
Oh,
Yeah, that's mine.
I love
sweet,
it.
you guys.
Wait, one moment. There's another one from Edric. Bakit ako nagpapakita?
Oh, nga. This is you're fighting for dinner.
Competition.
Yeah.
Wala
Is that
na,
it?
hindi
Is
ka
that a picture?
mahanap. There's another one with
There.
There's
you go.
Yeah,
another
that's the one I shared.
That's a good one.
I think Edric wants to show the one with.
Oh yeah, that's the one also. I showed
No,
that one.
We had the money post was invented by Edric.
It was invented by him.
We made Susie Orman do the money post when she went here. Yeah. All right. I won that round.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
The next item, this should be easy. The name of your most unforgettable guest.
Siyempre, eto. I have it.
Oh, we're writing it.
Go. Who's?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I have to
guest
say-
natin siya ngayon, sabi. Kaya ganyan, ha?
Hey, but mine is Floi
Wait,
because like
nga. Si
I-
Edric
Wow.
are.
Okay. That's good, ha? Si Salve sip-sip talaga sa mga guest natin eh.
Yeah, Salve,
Siyempre, no. Siyempre. Alam mo, laging ganyan dapat. Yung pinakamagaling,
Laging ganyan.
yung
Yeah,
present. Kayo naman.
Yeah, okay. Well, last item na for the break.
Okay.
Oh my
Your
God.
most unforgettable moment. Okay, yeah. Medyo... Go.
I have
Okay.
Right?
just talking about this.
I gotta
Yeah.
say that. Oh yeah. Okay.
BUL pa rin.
There's
BUL
that.
pa
There's the
rin.
BUL. Yeah. Salve and I ganged up on some poor person.
Inspiring the kids.
Quick explanation. I know this should be very fast. So Mel and I, so Edric was there. Mel and I were ganging up on someone who just said the fastest way to wealth is BUL. And Mel, our necks all of a sudden.
Yeah. We just looked.
And then Edric was like, "Oh my!"
I know. Calm down, girls. Calm down. And we were like, what? That poor guest.
Did you pre-interview the guy or the girl? Did you?
Yes, the writer did.
The writer did. Oh.
Okay, well that
At
was
least
fun.
memorable,
Thank you.
ano.
Oh, but there's one more thing. This happened. What? Oh, this happened. Okay, so this happened on maybe our second or third taping together. And Salve, we were all talking about joining the show. We had just met, okay? And then Salve looks at Edric, and he's much taller than her, right? And then she said, "Don't you know why they chose you?" And he was like, "Huh?" And she went, "Your pretty face. That's it."
Wait, teka lang. You're getting ahead of the game. We're gonna talk about that later. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Teka lang. I'm just gonna ask Direk who won the Bring Me segment.
Who won? Who won?
Direk?
I think Edric.
Edric ba?
Yeah,
Or ano?
I think Edric won it.
Oh, sige, we'll
Yeah.
decide at the end of the show na lang para you know who owes who when you guys eat out next.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Alright.
Okay.
Mel, that is my way of telling Edric he's poggy.
Okay.
I know.
No, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Okay,
Okay,
the second
okay.
game is backstage revelations. Ayan, sakto lang sa topic na bringing up mo, Mel. I will be asking you 3 questions and you will point to the culprit. Okay? Actually,
Okay.
this isn't just 3 questions.
Pointing.
Maraming questions eh. Pero, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Make sure you know how to point. Baka mali yung
Oh,
positioning
yeah.
nyo.
Okay.
All right.
It's usually that one.
Who was always late?
Oh my God!
Who?
Him! He was
They're
always
both pointing at
late!
you, Mel. They're both pointing at you,
No!
Mel.
I was always early, but I was stuck in that stupid parking line. That parking line? ABSD. And I'd be there. I've been waiting 30 minutes. I've been waiting 45 minutes. Yeah. And then sometimes I'd be there an hour and a half. I'm here, but I've been in the line for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Ayun, para sa mga...
But I was there.
Wala
Okay,
na.
next question.
Talo ka.
Next question. Who was the most nervous during the first episode?
Me.
I think I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm not sure. I guess Salve. Okay, Salve.
I guess you guys
I'm
are all
so
nervous.
nervous.
Mel was definitely the most composed, I think, coming into it.
Yeah. You didn't show nervousness at all, Edric. You didn't show it.
Yeah,
If you
you didn't.
were.
She was just upset at the
Alright.
party. Otherwise, she's
Yeah.
very composed.
Okay. The next
Thanks.
question. Who had the most kaaway?
Me.
Salve pa rin.
That one. Salve. Always like,
I can imagine.
oh, but blah, blah, blah. But really,
Yeah.
I must ask you this. Are you sure about that?
When Salve started doing those episodes on the scams and bring all, that's when I think she really, right, Salve? So it was for all the right reasons, I think. I think that's the good thing of the show. All the right reasons.
Yeah. Oh my God. And the people you had on. We had Dexter Villamin on this show, and you had him on your show too. So yeah. That's
Oh,
something,
Dexter.
right?
I love Dexter.
Not that one.
Oh, not that Dexter. Another Dexter.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay.
Next question.
Last 2 questions.
bad with
Who was
names.
the most adorable?
Adorable?
That
I
one.
Adorable.
I think
that one.
No,
Edric,
can't-
you're pointing.
I can't point to Edric.
There's a vote here. There's a vote here. All of you were adorable.
Aw.
I think-
Adorable.
Yeah.
is like
Edric
a-
was the most lovable.
Okay, last
Right,
question.
so-
Last question.
Okay, last question.
We have to move it along. Who was the peacemaker? So si Salvi
Edric
nakaaway.
also.
Who's the
Edric.
I think
peacemaker?
Edric.
Edric
Edric.
was the peacemaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Edric
Yeah, I
was the
think Edric.
peacemaker.
He
Alright,
always
good
stayed
job,
very
guys.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, he always
So-
stayed
Oh,
cool.
wait, let me explain. Because Mel started with that thing, and I was so tactless. I didn't know what it meant.
That's
I
why
just
she's
wanted to
adorable.
say
She does so many
Edric-
naughty things.
Edric, super guapo, and I was right. And then Mel made me realize, and to his credit, Edric doesn't get offended at all.
No, he doesn't. He's great.
He's just amazing.
Warren, it just looks like that, but deep down I'm crying. No, I'm just kidding.
You're a tortured soul, right? Okay. All right, guys. Okay, we have to move on. We're gonna tell you who won those rounds at the end of the show. Dreka, don't forget, you give us a winner, okay? Because dinner is on the line. Okay? It's so much fun. I hope all the On the Money fans
Sige
there
na.
are happy, are satisfied, and they had their fill of all of the gossip and stuff that went on during the show and behind the scenes. So thanks, guys, for coming on. It's time for us to Actually, you guys aren't going anywhere. You're going to be playing hosts on this show. You're gonna take over, all right?
Yay!
Melissa and Edric, you guys take
Yay!
over. Edric, you're going to help introduce our first guest.
Yeah. Well, I remember that when Edric was laughing, was dancing in the show. Anyway.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
Okay,
start.
so
Yes, you ready?
Yeah, go.
Okay, all right. Our first guest is Floi Wycoco, no stranger to On the Money viewers. Floi, I remember those days. You know, his group TGFI, or the Global Filipino Investors, was tiny when we first featured it on the Money. And Floi was then an OFW that decided to quit his job and come back home. Now, TGFI is one of the biggest investment groups in the country based on this script, at least 145,000 members. Floi, come on up. Congrats, bro. Good to see you.
Yeah, welcome to the show,
Oh my
Floi.
Oh, yan. Parang reunion talaga. What happened to
Oo
Mel? Mel, where are you?
Uh,
Nawala na si Mel.
Maybe she's in the parking lot. She's waiting for parking.
Okay, wait.
I feel really bad. I'm trying to find the introduction. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
So first question, I think
First
Warren, you have a
question.
question.
Floi, okay, so we were just talking about this. We did a story with Floi on ABS-CBN about AXIE Infinity. Floi, you play AXIE. How much are you earning from it? And is this actually a viable source of income during this pandemic?
I think you
Well,
both had this conversation in ANC, right? Yeah.
First off, I'd like to say hi to all of our hosts, and of course the trio. No, so my favorites. No, so just for
You have to say that.
for trivia lang. No, so when we were starting ANC on the Money, they are the first show who believe in what we do in TGFI. So we will not be where we are right now without these guys. So thank you so much.
It's so good to see you.
Does
Yeah,
that
of
mean
course.
you will pay the 100,000 peso prize for the winner? Is that right? For all the games.
Oh, ayan na siya. Oh, yeah.
Rep ko pa dyan. So,
Grabe. May paganyan pa si Ralph. Oh. Okay. So, let's
So,
talk about
yeah.
AXIE.
okay. So, how much I'm earning? I'll discuss more on how much how much you can earn from the game. No, kasi there are two categories when it comes to playing AXIE Infinity. You can be an owner, or should they call more of like a manager type, no? Or maybe you can still your manager can also be a player of AXIE Infinity. And there's a second category, which is we call them a scholar. No, so those scholars are, let's say, I have multiple AXIEs. No, so multiple mga monsters. No, so each AXIE monster, each team composed of at least 3. No, so these scholars, pwede mong paglaruin sila. Okay. Now, how much they earn? They earn at least, siguro if we're talking about now, they can earn at least around 15,000 in a month. It ranges. It depends on how much is the selling price of the cryptocurrency you can get as you play the game. No, which is the smooth love potion or the SLP. No, so if we're talking about AXIE Infinity, and you asked me about this question last month, no? So I can say at least around 30,000 to 50,000. Medyo bumaba ngayon.
Bumaba.
Bumaba
What's
ngayon.
it at? What's the rate now to
Right now,
USD?
I think it's 7 pesos. So last month that
7
was
pesos.
at least at it went to as high as 20 pesos, 21 pesos I think.
Ang
So,
sabi mo,
there's-
Floy, kanina, you can, but there is no guarantee that you will. Tama ba?
Yes. Well, there is no guarantee that you will get that money. Of course, if you will not play the game and if you will not win any game, no. So of course you will not get those tokens, no.
Tapos depende
So,
rin sa galing, tama ba?
depende rin sa galing, depende sa skills mo, sa skills ng cards mo, how you understand the game, how you understand the movement of your of the person of you are playing with. So ayun. So if you are a scholar, again you can make siguro let's do it this way, no? Around 15,000 to as high as 50,000 for at least one account in a month.
Okay. Magkano capital? Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Edric.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
If,
No?
if we're talking about the game right now, no, so medyo bumaba rin yung initial capital. You can have let's say a matinong team, no, for at least siguro mga 45,000 to 50,000. So about a month ago, sobrang hype niya. So I was able to buy at a high price. I bought at 86,000 for 3 AXIEs in one team, no? So of course nabawi naman 'yon. So there are a lot of perks when you play the game. So for example, there's one instance that I was able to get a rare AXIE. So that AXIE is at least 15 globally that with that kind of AXIE. When I check on the valuation, it's a minimum of at least 200,000 pesos for that one AXIE alone. So if I'm going to compare it from magkano yung nilabas kong capital for that AXIE, siguro mga nilabas ko doon mga 10,000, I guess, mga ganon. So right now I have to inform this. I've been telling this to people. I have at least 10 scholars under me, so that those are 10 players. So the good thing with the game is that other than you enjoy the game, you also give opportunity to other people. Kumbaga nagbibigay ka ng trabaho in a way to other people, a source of income. So that's one thing that we should be proud of. So I know there will be some questions about BIR and things, no. So that one, so that's what I had answered Warren. So
I gotta ask something.
Yeah.
I gotta ask something about the coin. So is that the exchange rate of the AXS coin?
No, that's different.
Yeah.
So there are two coins, no?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
There are 2 coins.
So
Yeah.
So how is the valuation of the coin, of the AXS coin, affected by the game? Because I imagine that for the AXS coin to keep its value, the game has to stay interesting, and it has to stay interesting long term, so people are engaged. It's got to be like it's got to be like Nintendo or something like that, where people are playing for decades, right? So how do you maintain that kind of interest to keep the value of the actual coin?
All right, we'll bring that question to Floi later in the question and answer segment, and I will give Edric one chance to ask one question before I move on to the other guests. Sorry, Floi, we're run out of time for this segment, but just one quick question, one quick answer from Edric and Floi.
Yeah, super quick, Floi, because one of the guys I'm mentoring showed me the game, and what I wanted to also clarify for you is it's also time bound. The more time you put into the game and you play, it works out that you're able to earn even more. Is that correct? Because that's why you have scholars who are like students who have time to just play the game, make the money while they're doing it.
Yeah. So if you're going to play the game right now, let's say in a day, if you're going to play it and you want to get all of the rewards that you can get at minimum for a day, siguro a straight hour of 1 hour to 2 hours, you can get everything already. So that's at least 75 SLP or Smooth Love Potion. That's the token you get from playing the game. The
All right.
AXS is the token you get from when you breed new AXIs. Yeah.
I
So
see
it's like
a lot of
mining.
it.
You're
I
mining
see a lot
AXS.
of very
Got it.
interested eyeballs in this episode right now in this segment.
Ang dami,
Okay,
ang
so
dami,
let's talk
partner,
about
oo.
so many questions. Ang dami, Warren, di ba? Nakikita mo ba?
Yeah, nakita ko ang daming comments.
Ang
dire-diretso
daming
lang.
comments, ang daming questions, but
Ang
we
daming
have
tanong.
run out of time for this segment. We will bring in Floi. Floi, di mo kami iiwanan, di ba? Love mo kami, di ba?
Yes, I'm here. Oh,
Okay, so ibabalik po natin si Floi Wycoco later for the live Q&A. Thank you so much, Floi, for that. And we'll bring in our next
Hey,
guest. In fact, hindi ko na natanong tungkol sa BIR and SEC, but we'll ask that question later on during the live question and answer. And I believe that Melissa has a second guest.
Yeah, I need to read. So our second guest is a crypto and NFT expert, which is fantastic, right up my alley. He's been all over the internet these past few days talking about AXIE Infinity. And Luis is a co-founder at BloomX, a startup that's bringing crypto trading and modern money services to the developing world. He's the author of the Little Bitcoin book out in 2019 and Reinventing Remittances with Bitcoin in 2017. He's also one of the world's first NFT artists with his crypto pop art initiative.
Wow! Come
So
on up,
there you go.
Luis.
Hi, Luis. Yeah, I have a crypto
Hi,
series
everyone.
here.
You've been
Hi.
having a lot
Hey.
of fun so far in this episode.
Because we haven't seen
Sana
each other in
nag-enjoy
like
ka rin.
since 2014.
Oh, magkakilala pala kayong dalawa? Hindi ko alam yun Okay, great. Edric, I think is a
Good,
question.
yeah. First question, Luis. I mean, after hearing all that stuff, and I'm seeing your chat say that not many people are seeing. In 1 minute, what do you want the world to know about AXIE that it does not know yet? Go.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a very experimental reimagining of how people treat games. I think that's kind of the bottom line of it. I think that there's a lot of talk kasi about how this is kind of a new way to get rich quick or whatever, and then there's going to be accusations of it being a Ponzi scheme or it's some kind of scam or whatever. But what it really is a really grand economic experiment, the likes of which we've never seen before. And that the reason why you're going to have a lot of struggles from, and this is me managing my expectations for the rest of this interview, no? Parang there's going to be a lot of struggles with certain answers to the questions that you guys are going to be asking. The reason why there are struggles is because none of those answers are determined yet. We're trying to figure it out. And that's what's kind of amazing about all of these new industries that are being born out of cryptocurrency. We are rebuilding, re-envisioning kind of traditional industry. And we're doing it kind of in real time with real money, with real people. And yeah, it's gonna be rough, but it's also gonna be very exciting. I think that's kind of the bottom line for me.
That's very
Sorry,
interesting when you say the word experimental. Go
I
ahead.
gotta ask a quick question. Is this game basically, it's kind of outsourcing the mining of AXS to people playing the game, is what I'm guessing. Is it?
It's not really. The difference. So let me give you my very strange analogy, because I guess we're on a Filipino money show, so I'll do this weird analogy. AXS and SLP are two separate tokens. Both of them are related to AXIE Infinity.
Yeah.
Think about AXS like you are buying stock in Jollibee, so JFC,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And then think about SLP like you're buying
game.
Chicken Joy.
Okay.
Because
Ang galing,
SLP
nice.
is a consumable unit. It is meant to be consumed. It's meant to be destroyed. AXS is more of a performance indicator. So if the world believes or perceives AXIE Infinity to be doing well, if they look at the number of active users per day, about 1.5 million people across the globe, 50% of which are Filipino, weirdly enough. If they look at that and they think, oh, that means it's doing well, AXS goes up, right? So it is actually more of a stock, and then the actual use of it, and this hasn't manifested yet, no? So it's still something that they're working on. It is meant to be voting rights in the direction, the business direction of AXIE Infinity, where everyone who has AXS para siyang, it's exactly like stocks nga eh, where you have some share of equity in the company, and therefore you can vote, you can kind of influence where it goes next. I mean, that's theoretical at the moment. It hasn't been implemented yet, but that's the idea behind it.
I think that's a very interesting comment from one of our viewers. Heidi is a financial advisor also. She said she will never look at Chicken Joy the same way again.
I mean, to me, Chicken Joy is still just a bunch of fried towels. So I don't know. I mean, like I live right next to that.
Oh no!
Okay, Jollibee stockholders.
Yeah.
All
There
right,
goes that
Luis.
sponsorship.
Okay, before
Sorry.
I call
Joke lang.
before I call on Edric, very quickly, I noted when you used the word experimental, and before I watched you in many of your YouTube interviews and media interviews this week when AXIE Infinity issue was really very hot because of the SEC and BIR decisions. When you say experimental, before I ask my real question, when you say experimental, what exactly does that mean in the world of investments?
Sure. Well, I mean, so it's extremely high risk, right? And if you look at the game itself, it says there that it's in alpha, right? So this is the game as we see it right now. This is the most basic version of what the developers have in their heads. It took them, over 2 years to get to this stage, and it's still very, very nascent and kind of. I mean, no one is going to tell you that it's the most stable platform on earth. It was actually quite rocky in the last month or two when they moved from 300,000 users to 1 million users, kind of in the same month. Like the whole platform was having a really hard time catching up. So you're going to see a lot of that. The growing pains are going to be real. And that's the case for almost every other cryptocurrency investment you could ever look at. It is all very experimental. It's all very nascent. But that doesn't stop people from putting literally trillions of dollars into the market cap, no? And that's where it gets a little bit risky talaga.
I gotta ask quickly. So, does playing the game create more AXS coin, or it does not?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
The only thing it does create is SLP. Yeah.
Okay, but as long as people continue to play the game, as long as the game engages people, the value ideally should go up.
Of AXS, yes.
Yeah,
That's the theory. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have
And I
one
guess
last
the
question.
challenge, yeah.
Right. I have one last question, but I'll ask Warren and Edric to ask their questions before I ask mine. And go ahead, Warren.
Yeah,
Not
actually, Direk is reminding us to talk Tagalog, okay? So, sabihin ko lang.
I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry.
Para lang maintindihan ng mga kaibigan natin, mga
sige,
kababayan
go.
natin. Ako, yung analogy ko is, and it's something that people have always said, it's parang siyang Pokemon, no? And people have played Pokemon a lot here in the Philippines. Naglalaro talaga may tao. And when you play Pokemon, nung naglalaro ka doon, meron mga pera sa loob ng game na pwede mong gamitin para gumaling or pagalingin yung mga Pokemon mo, palakasin yung mga Pokemon mo. Yun yung SLP, no? And then yung AXS, parang yan yung stock in the Pokemon creator, Nintendo. Yan. So yan yung sinasabi ni Luis na and it's really a great idea kasi parang if you're a gamer, you spend hours at a game, and I know a lot of people who are gamers, and parang yung lagi nilang sinasabi na kung pera talaga to, mayaman na ako. So
and now we are trying to make that true.
And they're trying to make that true, diba?
Because of the exchanges.
Like poker.
Yeah, it's weird to me that none of the big game creators are actually looking into this, except for Ubisoft, which is with Sky Mavis, right? But
Outplays.
Yeah,
CryptoKitties.
So do you play? My question, Luis, is do you play?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so I've I mean, in an effort to understand the player experience a little bit more, because I've done everything else that you can possibly do in this game. I'm a speculator in AXS itself. I have a small group of scholars also that I sponsored a few months ago. And the final step for me was, two things. Either I start a breeding farm or I start playing the game myself. So I opted to start playing the game myself. I think that if you're playing well, you can really hit, I was hitting about nearly 2,000 pesos a day. And I think I can probably maintain that, assuming that I didn't have a full-time job and everything else that is, kind of competing for the time. But it is actually correct when they say that like in 2 to 3 hours, you're usually done. Tapos ka na for the day, because the game itself caps how much you can earn. So in other words, you can't just like grind 24/7. That's impossible. You can
Wala
do your best.
matutulog.
Yeah, exactly. Yun nga. So you do your best within a 3-hour period. And that's it. You're basically done now. So for most people, that's actually very, very reasonable. You could still have a normal job and still have a normal life and still play AXIE Infinity 2 to 3 hours. You probably won't hit 2,000 pesos a day unless you're really, really focusing on it. And in my case, kasi I consider it as part of my job to get good at it, because I'm trying to understand the entire ecosystem top to bottom. So that's why I spent so much time on it recently.
Okay, thank you, Luis. I won't have time to ask my question, which is about what we talked about in something that happens to Bitcoin when it halves every 4 years, correct? And how that is going to affect AXIE also. But
It'll make
we
it go up.
are at
And there's like
let's
short
see
answer.
later. Let's talk about that during the live Q&A.
Okay.
But for now, before we bring you down and bring in our next guest, mabilis lang na live Q&A. Uy, wow. Wow, Sir
okay,
Luis,
okay.
pa-scholar daw.
Ayan.
See, that's the danger of actually talking about AXIE Infinity on live stream all the time, no? Like, there's a lot of
nangyari
people that
naman
will ask us
sa'yo.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Please
Question
direct
daw.
all of your inquiries to Salve at On The Money.
Ako, manager. Wait lang, may
May
quick
question. What are the
and wait,
factors that
one moment,
affects...
Warren.
Ah, sige,
Bago
sige.
daw tayo magbasa ng next question, please remind people, this is our most viewed segment so far, just so you know. Also,
That's how
because
hot
a lot of
AXIE is,
people
yeah.
that's because of AXIE and Mel and Edric, because a lot of people are here
Yes.
because of the two of them. And we would like to remind everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Sorry, hosting job. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you don't have YouTube, you can go to Facebook, IG, Twitter, Kumu, and
Kumu.
TikTok to follow us.
Yeah.
Ako daw ba yung manager ni manager? Okay. Question
What
is,
was the
I
question?
think,
Can
very
we bring it
interesting
back up?
here.
Ayan.
Okay,
What are
Warren,
the
please.
factors that affects the currency change po ng
This one's an
SLP?
easy one
Ayan.
this one's an easy one to answer, because you only have to remember there's only two roles that are important in the entire ecosystem. One is the player, they're the people who are actually earning SLP, right? And then the other one is the breeders. So these are the people who are taking SLP, they're actually using it to create or generate new AXIEs. Why are they doing that? Well, because if they breed a really good one, they can sell it for more money. Or maybe they have AXIEs already and they kind of suck, so they want better AXIEs. So yun yung parang two motivations nila. So players and breeders. Therefore, assuming that there is a 100% balance between players earning SLP and breeders spending SLP, then dapat the economy should be completely flat. Right? But of course that never happens. That's impossible in any system. So what happens actually is that perhaps there is more players right now who are earning SLP, and that is why the price of SLP is slightly lower than it normally is, or at least was like from last month, no? Because there's more people who are earning this stuff and less people who are parang accumulating it in order to spend it. So parang supply and demand lang naman yan eh. That's the simplest way to think about it. It's actually, it's just chicken joy. It's just chicken joy all the way down. So
I love it. Messaging discipline. Edric, you don't have a question. I'll ask you to.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, not
Okay.
raising my hand because we were talking about shareholder of Jollibee. I'm like, well, Jollibee, I'm still a fan. The thing after the towel, I'm still a fan. I'm holding on.
Thank you. So, Luis, that was wonderful. We'll bring you back up for the live Q&A. You have a lot of viewers here who are your fans. And this one, however, is my fan. This is my very good friend and client, Ed Tirona. Hi! Thank you for joining the show today. I'm glad that Ed's around. Okay, so Luis, thank you so much. We'll bring you down first and then we'll bring you back up again. I would like to introduce now our next very, very special guest. Our next guest is SEC Commissioner Kelvin Lee, a favorite in this channel because of his ability to explain in layman's terms things that are very complicated. He once explained to me clawback and the clawback provision of the law by showing the claw. I cannot forget that. Commissioner, thank you for joining us.
Hi. Good evening,
There
everyone.
you go.
Everyone. Hi.
Hi, Com.
Nakinig ka ba, Com, sa kwentuhan namin kanina? Ang kulit-kulit namin, ano?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say cool, but it was fun. Certainly, it was a very fun experience. Now watching everyone speak and get together again. Glad to be here.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me here, pala.
Yay! Well, so you've
Sabi
met
ng mga
Warren
kulit.
before. Ako lang, tama. So Edric and Mel, you've met them backstage. I think Mel has a first question for you.
Yeah. So, why is it important that that companies register with the SEC if they're offering their financial services or their products?
Securities, yeah.
Securities, yeah.
Securities, siguro. Well, basically, to keep it simple in light of time issues, because the law requires it. There's something called the
Yeah.
Securities Regulation Code, kasi, which we follow. That's one of our mother laws, the Revised Corporation Code and the Securities Regulation Code. And there are two provisions that I hope now I'll be a little legal sandali. There are two provisions in SRC kasi the Securities Regulation Code that apply. No? Section 8, it says kasi that it requires that the registration statement has to be filed and approved by the SEC before securities can be sold or offered for sale in the Philippines. And then we have Section 28 naman of the SRC that prohibits anyone from buying or selling securities unless they are registered with the SEC. So bottom line is, the law mandates it, but the main reason, I personally want to say that the main reason we mandate yung, how do we say, that securities have to be covered with us by the SEC, they come to us first, is because we want to ensure that they are viable, they are legitimate. No? They help make sure that what we offer to the public, what is offered to the public is real. No, it's not a scam. Kumbaga, they have that not naman SEC seal of approval, but they at least have the SEC statement na ito legitimate to. You can invest in this. Whether or not you make money, that's another thing entirely. But at least hindi ka scam. Yun yung point. No, to keep it
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
Kamesh, follow
But-
through. Go ahead.
Go
Mel.
ahead, Edric.
Oh.
No, Edric first.
Okay. Go ahead, Edric.
Yeah, Kamesh. So what does it entail? Let's explain to the viewers here. Registration, how
Yeah.
does it work?
That's a fairly complicated topic. First, siguro to simplify again, under Section 8 na naman of the Securities Regulation Code, again, registration entails the filing of a registration statement. No, it's a document that essentially explains everything about that security. No, including the projected benefits, the risk, the financial statements, things like that. So the SEC then examines that statement, and then we would approve or disapprove that, depending on whether or not it fits the requirements of the law. No, the bottom line, kasi Edric and everyone else, no, the registration statement approval, this or disapproval, the point is to have full disclosure. We want to make sure that everything is disclosed to the public, and then the investor, can make a decision. Siya na bahala mag-decide whether to buy or not. Once again, it's not for us to say whether or not you'll make money off of it. It is simply for us at the SEC to say whether this is legitimate or not. No, yun yung focus
At
namin.
least to wean people away from scams or parang just to protect them from the negative part of investing, na mawalan sila ng pera or somebody runs away with their money. Warren, I think you have a question.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, like, how do you protect investors, especially in things like this, where I understand also from my coverage na wala pa talagang batas regarding cryptocurrency and things like this, diba? So how do you protect investors?
Two questions there. No? Very, very quickly before I jump into that, I just like to mention we have something called the Digital Asset Offerings Rules and the Digital Asset Exchange Rules, which are in the draft form, which the SEC has drafted. It's up for public comment about a year or so ago. No, and we're trying to come up with it this year. So hopefully that is what will cover these things now, yung mga cryptocurrencies, what we call digital.
Tell us first.
I'll send you a copy. But on the point of by being registered kasi with the SEC, we can protect investors because if these things register with the SEC, they will then file reports, full disclosure to the SEC and to the public, like in publicly listed companies of PSE, diba? Lumalabas sa public yung annual report. So, and they will be subject to penalties agad in case there's misconduct or any violation of the Securities Regulation Code. No, through registration kasi the public is informed of the risk and rewards of putting their money in that investment product, whatever it may be. So once again, I go back to the point. You have the imprimatur kasi of the SEC that security, investment, whatever it is legitimate. We can't vouch if the investment, once again, will make money or not. That's not for us to say. But we can assure you once again, that it is legitimate. It's not a scam.
Ayun nga. So papunta nga ako dun sa tanong na ano yung magiging risk ng mga tao in investing in companies, not necessarily crypto, di ba? In companies na hindi registered. Kasi may nagtatanong dito sa comment section, we always hear SEC talk about the secondary license. What are the steps to take now for that? And we always talk about that also in On the Money. Kasi the first license is just license to operate. It's simply about having the right name. I mean, di ba? Yung capital, yung structure mo. But what is the secondary license and why is that required for people who are offering investments to the public? Tsaka, ano yung risk ng mga tao pag naglagay sila ng pera dun sa mga companies na walang secondary license? That's one. Investment platforms that are not registered also. Currency trading platforms, whether cryptocurrency, NFTs, or otherwise. And other organizations that are not registered with SEC. Kasi a lot of people say, wala, power play lang yung SEC. Gusto lang nila sila yung dinadaanan ng lahat. Hindi naman yan kailangan eh, 'di ba? Aminin na natin, dediretsuhin ko na. Yan talaga iniisip ng mga tao, lalo na pag sinabi ng SEC na hindi kayo registered, hindi kayo pwedeng magbenta ng investments.
Yeah.
Ang susunod na sasabihin nila sa mga members nila, nagpa-power play lang yan si SEC eh.
Alam mo, there's so much there's so much meat in those questions. So dami kong sagot niyan. But sige, one at a time, no? Secondary license is essentially what I mentioned kanina nga, no, that you get the imprimatur from the SEC for you to have permission to sell. Sorry, not my bad. But anyway, you have a license nga. If you get the secondary license, you have the license to sell, precisely because under the Securities Regulation Code, you can't sell or offer investments without our imprimatur. So yun yung point ng secondary license, at least in this context. No? In the context naman of what happens, what are the risks if you invest in these kinds of companies or investment platforms, cryptocurrencies that technically are not registered with us? Well, if you put them in those kinds of investments and then they're not registered here, they're not even located here, then bottom line, the government cannot protect you. No, you have no recourse to the government because the jurisdiction over any form of that kind of misconduct by those kinds of corporations that are not registered here usually fall under the jurisdiction ng kabilang country, wherever they're from. No, so you'd have to go to that country, wherever they are actually registered or where they operate, and you would have to file cases there if ever. And siguro this goes to that part about the power play, no? We tried to point that out in a question and answer that was sent to us by one reporter of a newspaper early this week. Medyo masama nga yung timing, no? Kasi we got negative feedback as a result of that, of our answers. And take note, I'm sure Sir Warren knows this. Our answers were very neutral, very factual, no? But we got negative feedback. We got insults pa nga. Some people, I recall someone pointed out to me that some people mentioned nga, how little that we understand these things at SEC, or we're just jumping on the bandwagon. But in reality, we were asked a question by a reporter, my deadline, and we answered them factually. No, so we were very factual. Wala kaming balak to really dig into this na publicly, because we try to, in case you haven't noticed, usually the SEC, kung mag-act kami, we act when we're ready na, when we have all the facts and details. Diba? And then you'll suddenly see an advisory. Diba? It seems like it's out of nowhere, or a cease and desist order. It seems like it's out of nowhere, but that's usually the product of weeks or months of investigation and study. So, and the sad thing about it, no, is some of these painful feedback we heard about, no, is coming from entities that we will be forced to regulate them later on when the digital asset offering rules come. But anyway, freedom of expression, constitutional right, no, so insults and like that, they're not new naman to any government official. It's part of the job. But I'd like to point out that doesn't mean our statements are wrong, no, yung factual statements na yun, or that our specialists don't understand this. To be clear, AXIE indeed is not registered in the Philippines, just so we're clear, no, either as a business or a security. And that is what we answered based on the questions of the reporter. Now, whether or not they are legally considered as securities talaga, pursuant to the Securities Regulation Code, and which would then require registration here with the SEC, that's a separate conversation. And one that we'll answer, siguro likely answer in the future after study and assessment, because we're still studying. We're still we're still coordinating with other regulators. And I guess that's why I want to take this opportunity to remind everyone again, no, to be careful, no, before engaging in these kinds of activities. I'm not saying don't play the game, Ma'am Salve, just so to be, that's really up to you. I'm merely emphasizing the point that you have very minimal protection under Philippine law in these kinds of things in case something goes wrong. And I want to emphasize the point, we're very careful in regulating these things. They fall under fintech. all regulators have to be very careful when it comes to fintech, because as I mentioned before in the talk with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, I think early this week, there's a delicate balance when you regulate stuff like this, cryptocurrencies, fintech like that. You weigh innovation one side, you want to encourage it, allow it to flourish, but you have to be careful about the possible risks. No, after all, including the risk to the system, systemic risk, or even risk to investors. After all, the core of our job at SEC is investor protection. And if I might add one final point lang before you start thinking na when it comes to regulating fintech, baka you think we don't want fintech to see things like this to succeed. We do. No, and I heard a quote from Angelina Jolie, who plays Tina in the trailer for the movie Eternals. Let me look it up. Here we have watched and guided. We have helped them progress and seen them accomplish wonders. So as the regulator, it would have been quite easy for us to ban these technologies, like other jurisdictions, when it comes to fintech, China, Turkey, Bolivia. But we didn't do that. Instead, we are observing, we are studying this, we're being factual about this. Why? Because the SEC wants to allow fintech as a whole to grow and to prosper. We want to help fintech progress. We want to watch the fintech sector accomplish wonders, not to use the words of Tina or Angelina Jolie, in the Philippines. So I guess siguro as a final point, we just hope that we can work together to make that happen, but at the same time, keeping in mind investor protection. I'm sorry, I got too long-winded. No, I hope that's...
No, it's okay, it's okay. Actually, to your point, Commissioner, I'll say I've also been asking about that newspaper article that you mentioned. Everybody has, I'm sure, and it was clarified with me through your communication staff. There's no advisory against AXIE. There's no such thing that the SEC is warning against AXIE. Pero correct. It's also important to note that what you said is true. The SEC cannot protect you if you are playing AXIE. And yung magaling nga dun is we interviewed an AXIE player aside from Floi. And ang sabi nila, we asked them naiintindihan nyo ba na hindi to regulated, na cryptocurrency to, na may palitan pa yan para makuha mo in peso. And they understood it very clearly na hindi siya regulated, and kung may mangyari, wala silang takbuhan dito sa Pilipinas. And that's absolutely great if you're an AXIE player like that, diba? Pero if you're an AXIE player who does not understand it completely, wag na lang, diba? Please wag na lang pa understand it before you start playing that.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Mainit ang usapan. At lalong-lalo na sa comments sa baba. Facebook, YouTube, Kumu, ang init-init na po. But we're going to have even more questions about that later in the live Q&A. Thank you so much, Com, for coming and joining us today. We are going to bring you down the stream muna, although we really want to chat more with you. Buti na lang, guys, kumain na siguro si Com ng dinner. Alam niya mahaba to lagi Hindi gutom, hindi siya gutom. So, bababa muna siya, and we'll bring in very quickly our next guest, who will be introduced by my partner, Warren.
Yes, of course. This guy, we already interviewed him as well on the AXIE story kasi napakainit nga ng storyang ito. Si Mr. Mon Abrea, no introduction needed. I'm sure you all know him. He's the tax whiz. Mon, come on up, please.
Yes, naman.
Hello. Ayan, okay.
Hi, Mel.
Hey,
Hi,
Mon. Good to see you. Oh my goodness, it's been forever.
I just have to say,
So good to see you.
it's on the money that I was recognized as tax expert. Thank you. Thank you.
Yun. Oh yeah,
So
so
good
let's
to
get
see you.
Also, the time that I was head on with BIR. I was on
Alam ko, Mel,
I was
That
rallying.
would have been
Yeah.
with
That was
Mon,
the time that I was rallying to abolish BIR. Yeah.
That's right. I remember. Oh my god.
the Bili
you
interview.
forgot, Mon. You forgot. After I interviewed Mon and made him talk about corruption in the BIR, he got a death threat. He got a death threat.
Ay, nako.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's right. I remember making you talk about that.
Grabe.
Sorry.
Diba? Life and death.
Anyway,
Situation
okay.
natin.
First question from Warren.
Oh, let's go,
We
let's
don't
go.
want to wait. Make our guests wait. Okay, go.
Okay, so ito. Minute na minute yung diskurso. AXIE earnings, should the BIR tax this month?
Actually, the question is a bit confusing. It should. Because the law is clear. In the absence of...
Wait. Ayusin kasi. Ang sagot mo dapat kung ikaw ang BIR commissioner, itatax mo ba yung kinikita ng mga tao sa AXIE Infinity?
Answer is yes, because it's clear in our law, Section 32 of the tax code. for all of us resident citizens, income from all sources within or outside the Philippines, in cash or in kind, legal or illegal, registered or unregistered, earnings, flow of income, wealth accumulation are subject to tax unless otherwise exempted by law, like OFWs, like the athletes. That's all. Thank you.
Ako, may follow up ako dyan.
Yes, Edric. Go, Edric.
Ako na, meron ako. So I think the money question for you, Mon, is how? Ayan. Paano lang gagawin to?
Actually, the answer is also provided by the players, by the influencers, by people in the online world. Kasi kayo ang nag-propose, kayo ang nagde-declare how much you have earned, what you have invested, and makuha lang yung pangalan nyo. The BIR can just check on it kung registered kayo, kung may TIN number kayo, etc. And don't forget, like for instance, sa AXIE Infinity, they may not be registered in the Philippines, and I was told they are registered in Vietnam. May tax treaty ang Philippines with these countries, US, Vietnam. In short, we can have exchange of information, even YouTubers. BIR can simply ask for the information from their counterpart to make for them to know who are really earning in the platform. But again, let me preempt your other questions. This is in the absence of a more progressive, a more technologically advanced and supportive of fintech. Kasi wala pa tayong digital taxation. I think that's the problem. I've been bashed the last 2 weeks because of all my answers, and it will be the same until we pass a legislation that will give them a special treatment, meaning to recognize their distinction from the other usual business transactions.
Okay, so if they don't declare, what happens? What's the penalty, or what happens to them if they don't declare?
Okay, I'll have another set of bashers after answering that.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
The law is also clear that once you are convicted or that you are proven to be tax evader, not registered, not declared, and not paying taxes, the fine is up to 10 million pesos, and the imprisonment is even beyond those who were accused of graft and corruption na nakatakbo pa ulit sa eleksyon. Ito 6 years.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's worse than people stealing from public taxes. It's worse than politicians. Like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. I'm sorry.
This is the Melissa Hecolea.
Oh, and I can tell you this. You know what? This whole thing about the digital laws, I know why they don't want a central bank digital currency, because then you can't bribe. Paper money's out. It'll all be tracked on the blockchain. How are these guys going to get their bribes, right?
Edric,
Oh,
do you remember
God.
this sound in your
That
ears?
is why they are slowing down the law.
Okay.
You know it, right? It's true, right, Mon?
Wait, Mon, are you going to answer that, Mon? Are you going to answer that?
I'm sorry, another death threat from Mon. I'm so sorry.
Go, Mon. Yakap ka na lang sa unan mo, Mon, no? Yakap ka na lang. Sige, yakap sa unan.
I'm so sorry.
Guys, it's fine.
Guys, alam niyo na.
Wearing this sweater for a reason. He's wearing that
Ano
sweater for a
nakalagay sa
reason.
sweater? Ano nakalagay sa sweater? Patingin,
Ayan,
long
wala.
live. Guys, just so, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Ni Edric. And that's the reason why in section 282 of the tax code, merong 1 million cash reward. Kasi nga, it's really hard to find the tax evaders. In fact, there is a bill in Congress now increasing the reward to 10 million pesos. But before kayo magalit at bago niyo ako i-bash, this is not limited to online gamers or social media influencers. Isumbong nyo yung mga mayor o congressman nyo na malalaki bahay at wala sa salin at hindi nagbayad ng buwis. Kasi malinaw din sa tax code, even illegal or ill-gotten wealth is taxable.
That's exactly it. I'm sorry.
Mel. Tata Vincent is in the show and she's saying, good that you're still hyper. I think Relly is also here.
Hi, Tata.
Mark, please
Wait.
give Mel a glass of water.
Yeah. Please give Mel a glass of water.
I got my water.
Here you go. Have a drink.
Wait lang, wait lang. Oh guys, alam ko medyo overtime na tayo. So I would like, I mean,
Sorry.
this conversation will get even better with everybody on the in the stream. So we will bring in all our guests. Sige, rumble na to, guys.
Rumble na, rumble na.
Rumble na.
Okay. Maybe Derek
Ayan.
can give us the
I'm
questions
sorry.
na, no? Mauna.
Kaya pa ba? Si Commissioner, nasa na? Ayan.
Ayan, oh. I think
Ayan.
these are the most guests
Grabing
we've had
saya.
on the show at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
Ano ako, Commissioner?
Sobrang saya. Pero wait, ako muna magta-traffic. I think Luis had some questions for Mon. I think backstage. Would you like to ask them here on the taxes? I think Luis and Floi should be asking Mon about taxes.
Actually, about the taxes thing. Actually, I was just actually pointing out that AXIE Infinity is not actually registered in Vietnam. They're an offshore business entity. So I don't believe they'd be beholden to that particular jurisdiction either. But the thing I wanted to point out about the whole tax conversation is actually slightly different from the angle that everyone else is taking. No, I wanted to point out lang that the people who are majority playing AXIE Infinity here in the Philippines, the one that is relevant to this show, are primarily people who are either unemployed or underemployed, people who have never actually had an income before and don't know the first thing about tax registration.
And
So I
probably
think-
don't have tin. And probably don't have...
all of everything that's implied there. Yeah, and also it's hard to get a tin when you have to do a physical appearance during a lockdown. That's kind of tricky. So I just wanted to say that the thing that I did not, I was disappointed by the messaging that kind of we were seeing about the whole taxation issue. Parang the messaging felt quite threatening. It felt like we were hearing talk about parang imprisonment or late penalties or parang the reminder that there is a 1 million peso bounty if you report tax evaders. But I just found that to be parang the wrong angle, the wrong tact to be taking. Given that the people who are most affected by this are people who literally don't know the first thing about taxation, and parang I feel like the correct way to approach this is to be more collaborative with the way that you try to bring them into the fold rather than kind of, it felt very threatening, and this is not me telling you my opinion necessarily, although I do agree with it. It's also me just kind of relating to you guys the sentiment of the community parang following the last few days of these BIR related conversations in the media. No? Na parang the entire community is, I don't know, it feels very negative. And I think that's the reason. I think that there was not enough parang effort to reach out to them, actually bring them into the fold in a way that was a little bit more welcoming. That's it.
Okay,
Nice.
Now, number one, just a disclaimer, I am not from BIR.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I was just mentioning it. Yes. I know that.
Don't worry. When I dude, I put my emotions in my pocket, so I don't really take it personal. But Luis, number two, we just respond to questions, and the RMC is really a reminder, not because they don't want them to go through the process without penalties and all, but I guess there's really no good news when it's BIR talking. It's always a responsibility. It's always the tax due. I don't think BIR will issue a letter to you, Luis, and say, thank you, Luis, for being a good taxpayer. So, I mean,
I was hoping that someday they would do that. I don't know. I'm still waiting for that letter, actually. Yeah.
Si Com na pa facepalm.
First interviewed by Edric, Mel, and Salve on The Money, that was my sentiment. It's just that in this scenario, I'm being asked whether they're taxable, what's the penalty. So there's no other way but to break it the way it is. Diba? Parang, but I understand. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, Luis, honestly, since mag-election naman, we need legislators who really understand this industry. I am not a player. I don't understand AXIE Infinity. I just respond based on Section 32. There's no other section that I can quote. So it means that because you're not earning and unemployed for the last 12 years, you don't need to register or you're not taxable. There's no way of putting it that way. But the good news, Luis, which I think I reiterated in the last 2 weeks, if you're earning below 250,000, there's no way that you'll be taxed because it's exempted under
Tama. Tama
And
naman.
the bounty, Luis, take note, the bounty, Luis, is not for the small time players. It's really for
Oh yeah,
those
yeah,
that
understood.
about their
Understood.
management, bragging about
Yeah,
all
yeah. The bounty is commensurate naman to the tax that's
That's
actually
it.
captured because otherwise that wouldn't really make sense.
Okay,
I was
then-
gonna say na ano, the AXIE players are definitely gonna hit more than 250,000 pesos in earnings this year, but that's I guess separate.
Yeah,
Okay. Wait lang. Traffic time.
doesn't want to be interviewed on this kasi nga parang tendency people get angry about it.
Triggered. Oo. Okay, best, ikaw naman bibigyan namin ng tubig. Ha? Okay, guys. Bigyan nyo ng tubig si Bes. Tubig tsaka pillow. But I think Com wants to weigh in on this. Com, meron kang sasabihin?
No, actually, the tax is beyond me. But I guess I just wanted to echo. I guess I wanted to echo si Boss Mon's statement, no, na he's constrained by the law, no? His statements, diba, is based on the RMC. In the same way, kami, our statements, whatever it will be constrained by jurisprudence, the Howie test of the Supreme Court, the Securities Regulation Code. But like I said, at least as far as I can, because I can dictate a bit of policy naman, no, in my capacity as one of the 5 commissioners. We are trying to be to what was the word si Louis used, parang to be more understanding, no, of these players. That's why we haven't. I emphasize the point. We haven't shut it down, diba? We haven't even gone in that direction. We just made warning to everyone. We want this. We want to encourage this. No?
Okay.
Fintech as a whole, no.
Thanks, Com. Okay, I will. Mamaya ka na. Wait lang. Sorry. Wait lang. I'll ask Floi to give a quick reaction, and then I will ask Warren to choose one question from the comment section. Edric and Mel to choose one question that you want the guests to answer. Okay, quick question, Floi, or quick answer, or whatever.
Well, for me, it's more of a quick answer as a player as well, no. So in terms of paying taxes, that's all good, no. Well, this one is from my own perspective. Been working, I've been handling businesses, so dapat talaga nagbabayad tayo ng tamang buwis, no. Ang sa akin lang as a player, from a player's perspective, other than telling us about paying those taxes, BIR must also, and other government sectors must also give us or tell us on what are the things that they can give in return. Let's say, you want to tax us, you want to regulate whatever, the AXIE Infinity, tell us how can you also protect us. No, so kumbaga it's a give and take kind of thing, no. So magbabayad kami, sige. So in return, ano yung magagawa nyo para matulungan kami as a player, para hindi ma-hack siguro yung account namin, para hindi kami will be away from scammers within the game itself, no. So that will be a better.
And palakasin na internet connection, no?
Not sure that's in the BIR purview.
That's the telco companies.
Whole of
Telco
government.
companies not doing their job.
No, it's a whole of government approach. Yeah.
Help us realize na the government is with us, willing to protect us as citizens of the country, and as well as a player, maybe as a taxpayer as well.
Awesome. Okay, Warren, because
Galing.
our viewers are waiting for the guests to answer their questions. Which one is the hottest and what do you want them to answer?
Nako, ang daming tanong dito, ha. Medyo mahirap mamili. Pero I have one that's very interesting, and this will, sorry guys, this will show how much you know about blockchain for those in government. Pero this question, it's very interesting. To be honest, instead of focusing on how to tax the NFT gamers or the non-fungible tokens gamers, why not use this opportunity to utilize blockchain in implementing tax payments, digital payments?
Exactly.
There's a lot of advantages in blockchain can offer to BIR, the SEC. Okay, so we'll start with SEC first. Are you looking at blockchain?
Yes. Actually, I'm happy to say nga that the OIC director we have, si Oliver Chato, whom I've been very lucky to be able to engage, to work with, as he's a former professor sa Ateneo, was one of the first to how should we say, he was one of the first to work on blockchain within the Philippines. And he developed a blockchain course, among other things. So he's very familiar with this. And of course, we can't help you when it comes to blockchain on taxes. That's beyond our purview. But the SEC has actually been looking at possibly implementing blockchain connected initiatives into our core systems in itself, including yung mga sa not just the company registration. We're also looking at possibility of using it in terms of our own digital payment. But that's something for later on, because once again, there are so many issues involved when you make large scale changes in government. I can honestly I cannot tell you if I can implement it within my time. I can tell you that it is something we are keenly looking at.
Stay in SEC forever!
It's great.
Sorry.
Kelvin has a whole new department for this, diba? Just created this year to work on the digital rules and everything. So it's great that you're looking at blockchain as well. Maybe you can talk to Luis, diba? May expert tayo dito.
Yeah,
for Mon. Mon, with the BIR, do you know if they're looking at blockchain?
Yes, I know for a fact that when I started advocacy, that's exactly the two things that I suggested: either automate BIR or abolish BIR. But right now, we saw the digital transformation. We saw it already. It's just that, let me take this opportunity, and to all the viewers, please help us rally for the Congress to double the budget of BIR. They don't have money to fund all this digital transformation. They cannot pay experts to do all the automation. They cannot. They simply cannot. So we need
Mon, i-lobby mo na rin daw yung budget ng SEC. Ikaw naman, wag lang BIR. Sabay mo na yung SEC. Kulang din sila ng budget. Okay, thank you.
Wait. Can I have a follow-up on this blockchain thing?
Okay, quick Mel, because we're running out of time.
Okay. So for the blockchain thing, basically that's digital contracts. Why not just have a digital currency? Then everything's on the blockchain. Then all payments are on the blockchain, and all government payments are on the blockchain. If it was just a pure government initiative.
Baka BSP kailangan natin dito dyan.
That's not on us, sadly.
Hindi yan sa kanila. BSP yan, BSP. Okay.
All I know about that partner is the BSP, before they said that they wouldn't release rules yet on cryptocurrency kasi hindi pa ganun kalaganap ang paggamit ng cryptocurrency dito.
Not yet,
But AXIE is changing that, and we actually asked them again about that situation na may rules na ba? Dahil nga may AXIE na at ang dami nang gumagamit, and they're still getting back to us on that.
All right. Okay. Question chosen by Edric, please.
Yeah, I like the one from Mark Santarino. Ganda, sabi niya, any other NFT games that you are looking at that can possibly grow big in the future?
Ala, Luis, that's your.
Luis.
There's literally 100. There's literally 100 of them. And there's no safe way to answer this question because no matter how much you say that this is not financial advice, people will take it as financial advice. So what I'm going to say instead is that AXIE Infinity on its own, although it is built on top of Ethereum, it is making more money than Ethereum itself. What that means, what you can take of that factoid, is that AXIE is basically the only game in town, figuratively and literally, when it comes to this new class of play-to-earn games. So that's parang the general term for this stuff, no? Play-to-earn. It's 99% of all of the revenue that's being generated for this kind of entire industry is just AXIE Infinity. I don't know what the next one will be, but there's literally 100 contenders out there. And you can imagine that there will be a whole bunch of big brands coming in as well. No, I mean, that's inevitable. Like we keep comparing it to Pokemon. When do you think the Pokemon version of this is gonna come out? I imagine they're probably thinking about it. But at the moment, it's really AXIE Infinity that is kind of the dominant game out there.
For stock market investors, it's like asking who's the next Apple, right?
Right.
Gusto na mag-speculate, pasok na tayo doon habang maaga pa. Okay, thank you for that question,
Baka
Edric.
si Floi may baka si Floi may next NFT game.
Next. So, same as what Luis said, though. So, mahirap kasi to identify games. I have my own choice of games. Pero, the way we see this is that most developers, they will take this route. No? So, mobile games and other console games, most likely, they will also try to take this route, the play-to-earn format. because they see that they're creating their own communities already. So when you are in NFT or before, no, when you are an esports fan, you just stay as a fan. Eh. But this time, if there's an NFT P2E format, you're not just staying as a fan. Eh. You become part of the game by earning from the game itself. So that's one thing that we see why NFT is there's a good potential in it, and there's kumbaga, this will be the next big thing if you are into gaming. So again, not a financial advice, but if you are a gamer and you think this one fits your appetite when it comes to gaming and investing, then you can try to research more about it, and if it fits you, then yeah, you put a small money into it. It's all about if you've done your own research, then go for it. Kung talagang prepared ka na.
Ako si Luis tsaka si Floi, hindi ko sasabihin para mauna na ako doon.
Mauna ka na.
Mel,
information.
did you choose a question, Mel, that you
I don't know where to find the questions. Sorry, I don't see them on my phone. My phone doesn't have.
Okay, just ask your question before I ask the last question. We are ending at 9:30. For everybody who's here for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to Kumu, to Facebook, to IG, and everywhere else. Yes, subscribe so that when we have these guys back, I hope you'll all agree to guest again in our channel. You'll be notified, di ba, Luis? Babalik ka. Guys, press 1 if you want them to come back. Press 1.
Yun.
I want to see all of those. Press 1.
Ayan na.
Live streamer. Ayan. Asan na kayo? Kung hindi kayo mag-press 1, di namin sila i-imbitahin ulit. Joke lang. Okay, Mel, just ask your question. And
okay,
I will ask mine.
I'll ask this to Commissioner Kelvin. So do you see the SEC eventually allowing kind of digital assets to be traded? You know, because it's happening in other countries already. And regulation is happening. You've got a lot of platforms that are self-regulating. And are you talking to other countries' regulators about how to move forward in the digital asset space and the crypto space?
Yeah, actually, yes, we are. Precisely why we set up that FinTech Innovation Office. That's our innovation hub. We base it on on other innovation hubs created in different countries. Precisely because we want to focus, to have dedicated resources, focus on digital assets, fintech as a whole. No? And one of the things we are looking at with one of our other departments, the Market Securities Regulation Department, is precisely that. No, the digital asset offering rules and the digital asset exchange rules, which have been published naman. No? Barring some technological changes which we need to update po yata, no? More or less that's it, what we've seen already that we've issued to the public. So in case you're interested in that space, I would suggest you look at those rules. No, it's on our website naman, www.sec.gov.ph. May singit lang na konting ad.
Yes, please. Ang galing. Commissioner, si Irene is watching. Did you see that? May asan na yun? Tinanggal nyo. Nasa na? All right. There you go. Irene Joan Aguila. Yes. Okay. So, now final. And that was a great question, Mel. Thank you for asking that.
I don't know the laws there.
Final question before we end the show. We've all talked about AXIE Infinity, the ecosystem around it from a tech perspective, from governance perspective, from tax perspective, and from people who have invested and are playing it. Question for everybody, because of course this is a financial show. At which part of somebody's portfolio should AXIE be? The reason I ask is, Luis, you know this, people are selling their farms to invest in AXIE. People are selling all of their stock portfolios to invest in AXIE. People are resigning from their jobs to do this to do this full time. Okay, when we teach investments, we know that there's not one single investment that will carry you to your retirement years. It has to be a mix of different investments. So to teach our viewers that when you buy AXIE, which part of your portfolio should it be? Should it be in the riskiest part and therefore the smallest part? Or should it be your biggest? Because you can earn up to 250,000 a month from it. Which one is it? I'd like to ask Luis first, and then Floi, and then Com, if you would like to weigh in on this. And do ayaw niya. But Com will give a closing statement before we end. Mon, would you like to weigh in on this? Sa tax pa rin? Okay, so let's ask Luis first quickly and then
Yeah,
Floy.
okay. Okay, I'll try to be as quick as I can, no? It's part of my job to give people advice and guidance about cryptocurrencies, not specifically which ones to buy, but like how to keep yourself safe when you are making those investments. So when you ask me, would I recommend that you do A, B, or C regarding AXIE Infinity, my first recommendation is learn as much as you can first, right? Do your research, do your homework first. That's the single most important thing. When you think about cryptocurrency investment, kasi that automatically goes to the high risk side of your portfolio. If you're the kind of person that thinks about it in terms of like low, medium risk or high risk, cryptocurrency itself is definitely high risk. Within that bucket of high risk, Bitcoin, Ethereum are probably the lowest of the high risk, if that makes sense. And then things like AXIE Infinity, things like the DeFi coins and things like that. That's a whole different topic now. Those are higher and higher up in the high risk segment. And what does that mean? Again, very, very experimental, very, very new. All of this stuff is still being figured out. I think it's kind of important to have diversification, as you've all said. But understand that within yung idea natin of diversification, kasi there's a lot of stuff that starts to look very, very similar. So in my mind, parang investing in anything in the Philippine economy is practically the same bucket to me. It's just that and then crypto. Cryptocurrency is basically where I put everything that I care about. And then within that, meron akong different levels of risk. And that's all very, very relative. But yun. But that's me because I'm a cryptocurrency enthusiast. I'm very passionate about it. So I've literally bet my entire career on it. So I'm basically as all in as you can possibly be. Don't do what I'm doing. Keep yourself safe. And invest securely. I guess that's the best advice I can give.
I thank you for that, Luis. I think intelligence brings down risk also. So since you're into this and you know about it, your risk goes down because you know a lot about it. So we don't want people to go into it without learning about it. Floy, quickly, and then I'll ask Mon, and then may feedback ako. Is that me? And then I'll ask Mon to give the closing statement, your last final words, and then Edric, Mel, Warren, and then Commissioner. Okay, Floy?
All right. So from my end, I consider investing in AXIE Infinity again as a risky form of investment, especially if you're a retiree, for example. No, so this will be a very risky for you. No, but why do I invest here? Because I believe in the game. But right now, if we're going to ask why people are putting here, masasabi natin may hype factor pa kasi siya talaga. No, so should you invest here? As long as you understand the game. Is it a risky game? It is it's a risky form of investment. It is risky. Yun nga, a while ago we've been talking about how much you can earn. So a while ago I said right now 15,000. Last month that's at least around 40,000-50,000. Why? Because the price of the game that you can grind, no, it went lower. So there's really too much volatility. No, so if you're going to invest or put your money in a financial instrument like in a cryptocurrency, ako tama no. So put first on the most established ones, no. So if hindi ka pa masyado niniwala with SLV, Ethereum you try, no. So now if you're going to ask me, is cryptocurrency a good form of for you to put your money? As long as you understand how it works, you understand its purpose, and you think you've done enough research, then go ahead. As long as you are satisfied with putting your money. Ako kasi when I put my money here, yung nilalagay ko na pera ko sa AXIE Infinity from what I earned from other form of active income that I have or passive income that I have. So kumbaga, I just reinvest whatever I put into other new form of investment. So
Thank you so much, Floy. Last powerful final lines from the witty and the funny Mon Abrea. Nakita nyo ba yung comment kanina na sana ganyan ka funny ang BIR?
This BIR, by its nature, its mandate, is a collection agency. You cannot really expect anything from them but to really collect taxes, diba? But for Luis and the rest of those active in cryptocurrency and all digital platforms, I just have one request. Since since you saw me, you know me, I'm not a scammer. Reach out to me.
Sa love.
I'll reach
Oo.
out to
Joke
me.
lang.
Let's have a conversation. We cannot just attack each other and hate each other because there's a law. We cannot just disregard it just because sentimentality goes against what the law requires. So reach out to me. I promise you, we'll reach out to commissioner if there can be a moratorium since it's pandemic. But the reality is there are those who made millions of pesos. Ang daming empleyado, fixed income earner, they paid taxes. We cannot just say we don't know. But I also hear you. Let's talk, diba? So since I'm not BIR, I'm telling you already, let's have that conversation. Then secondly, moving forward, legislation is key. There is now digital taxation in Congress. If I will describe it, it's stupid. We have to replace it. We have to include all these technical terms I heard in this episode. Why? Because the digital in Congress is imposing 12% VAT. We don't want that. We want the law to understand and to let this industry grow. Diba? Imagine mo kung 12% lahat ng kinita nyo, whether digital pets yan or anong tawag dyan. Again, I'm not a player. I really don't understand.
Ayaw namin ng 12% VAT.
Exactly, di ba? Ako, simple lang ang comment ko nung pinropose yung digital taxation. It's simply passing the burden of the 12% to Netflix subscribers and Spotify subscribers. But again, if we want it to be better, let's talk to the sponsors. Let's talk to the Ways and Means Committee. Hindi natin pwedeng hayaan ng Congress to just make laws for us that they don't understand. Let us make them understand it. For BIR, let us stop hating BIR. They need to collect taxes for the country. Who may corrupt, let's not elect them anymore. But let's stop blaming BIR.
Ay, Mona Brea for senator, everybody!
Yeah, because I'm from BIR. I am also paying my taxes.
Okay, tama na.
Okay, tama.
Tama na. Sabi nila, walang sense of humor ang BIR, pero si Mon Abrea meron. Sir Mon
Meron.
Abrea for BIR Commissioner
2022. Ayan.
Ay, diba? Look at this, guys. Ang saya daw talagang tumambay sa SalveSays every Saturday night. Final closing statement from Commissioner.
Thank you. Very quick lang, Ma'am Salve. No? I guess let me echo what Mon said. You know me now, you've seen me now, so don't hate us. Instead, study these things. No? Understand them, understand the law, understand the risks, understand as well why at least the government has to say some of these things. No? And most of us usually are factual or legal. No? We have to, we are set boundaries kasi talaga for us that we have to follow. Alam na alam ni Mon yan. No? So I guess final thought lang on this is please work with us. Work with government, work with the law, cooperate with us, the regulator. In particular, yung office nga namin that we just established, no, for these things, the Fintech Innovation Office of the SEC. No, we want fintech nga kasi to succeed. We also want the investing public, however, to be safe because of our mandate of investor protection. So, bottom line, let's work together. Let's try to make fintech, digital assets to succeed, and let's keep investors, let's keep everyone safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Commissioner. Yeah.
Guys, stop bashing me.
Okay, balik lahat tayo. We all get our share of bashers. Okay, let me just ask my co-host. Thank you again, Edric and Mel, for joining us tonight. This has been such a fun episode with the two of you. Final powerful words from you before we go to Warren and then me. Mel first, of course.
Okay, about the crypto investment, if you are going to invest in crypto, please make sure the platforms you are using are regulated in some jurisdiction. So I actually use platforms that are regulated in the US or in Europe, and because at least it offers some protection. There are crypto banks. Kraken is the first crypto bank in the US. So, you know, these are all regulated. You don't want to use unregulated platforms. It's risky. And again, do your research and think of Ethereum and Bitcoin as the blue chips, and some of the smaller cap coins is don't put so much in those if you decide to invest in crypto. But do your research So that's
Thank
it. Like any
you.
investment advice. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mel. You have turned into a crypto lover. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a crypto geek. Total crypto geek. I
Alright.
have a crypto
Thank you.
series. Yeah.
Thank you, Mel. Edric?
Sure, yeah. So a couple of things for me, just like any investment, and we've talked about this even back on the show, right? Match it to your goals. That's the one piece of advice that I want to give people is make sure that if you are going to go into it, match it to your goals. The next, because I'm a values guy, is check your motivation. I heard what you're saying about people selling their farms. Could it be greed that's driving you forward? That's going to lead to all sorts of problems. And finally, my personal take, the way I invest in it, is it's like an education, right? I'm willing to lose the money, but I'm doing that because I want to learn. So those are my closing takes on crypto and framing it as an investment today.
Thank you so much, Edric. Partner Warren?
Okay, I have a few things to say. First off, nanalo si Edric sa games kanina. So, Salve and Mel, kayo ang taya pagkakain kayong tatlo. Okay? Sama na kami. Sama na kami lahat. Ha? Kayo ang
Sama
taya. Dalawa
namin.
naman kayo.
Sama
Okay.
natin si Com, si Floi, si Luis, and si Mon. Sigurado
Oh my
ako
God, yeah, totally.
marami mauubos na whiskey tong dalawang to.
Yeah, after the pandemic.
Crypto.
Can we make sure there's lechon
We'll
wherever
pay in
we're
crypto.
going?
I am in charge.
Yeah,
of
we'll pay in
lechon.
crypto. That's
I
right.
did. Yeah, we'll pay in crypto. Second thing I want to say, actually, my final words is, I mean, look at this group of people. We're all here. We're all trying to help you out and understand how you can improve in your personal finances. And that's really what everybody said here on the show. Learn more, research, do your own research, understand it before you put your money into it. If you don't understand it, forget about it. Don't do it, okay? Learn first. And there's so many people, like all the people here, all the faces remember us because you can reach out, ask us about it. Everybody here has a platform where you can reach out to them and ask them about things like taxation or cryptocurrency or investment for OFWs or SEC regulations. And for our co-hosts for this evening, they're also available, I'm sure, in their own way. So yeah, just learn as much as you can before you pull the trigger when you invest.
Before I end, let me just one last as unmuted. One last comment from Irene, truly engaging host and an amazing lineup of guests, Edric, Salve, Mon, Com, Kelvin, Luis, and she's a follower. Thanks again. I really want to tell you that these people we are on the screen with, they're the ones who really made this show very, very engaging and I think one of our most unforgettable episodes. But thank you so much, everybody, for the gift of your time. Final words is follow our YouTube channel. Self-serving much. Pero ito po kasi, we don't earn money from this. This is for the love of it. At least not yet. Very soon maybe, but we will pay taxes on it. I promise. And whatever it is that I think, especially in investing, it's such a community and it's such a topic that changes a lot. And when I started investing, there were no cryptos, there were no NFTs. And now this is part of our investment courses because people want to make money and they need to be able to make money in a safe environment. That's why commissioner is there. They need to know about these technical things. That's why Floi and Luis are there. And they need to know how to comply with regulations from the government. And that's why Mon as BIR is there. And they need people like Edric and Mel and Warren to explain things in layman terms because the rich people and the government, they're not always available, right? They have a lot of job to do and they have a lot of things to do, so we try to bring you closer to everybody. And so thank you for this community, thank you for our viewers. We hope that you'll continue to follow us and listen and watch. And to my beautiful guests, thank you, and I hope that you will say yes to our invitation in the next few months.
Whiskey.
Ayan, ako enabler. Ayan, ako.
Luis.
Si Luis, napakaraming whiskey sa likod. Pero dadagdagan daw natin yan. Thank you, everyone. Does anybody want to promote a show or where can the viewers follow you also? Abrea. Abrea talaga.
Teacher! We have a show on Monday for BIR, official Facebook page of BIR. It's BIR in Action Live. I'm hosting it, and we'll have the BIR official to talk again about this issue. Plus, si Luis magre-react na naman, the 1 million reward bounty. But again, ultimately, the objective is for us to be educated. So if you want to know more, it's 3 p.m. sa official Facebook page po ng BIR. That's actually every Monday. We talk about all these issues, and you can ask questions directly from 3
O
to 6
yan.
p.m.
Yung may mga tanong sa BIR, dumiretso na kayo dyan sa Lunes para makapagtanong kayo. Luis, where can people follow you?
If you want to hear me become even more evangelical about cryptocurrency and community and industry here in the Philippines, follow me on Facebook. Hello Luis, yung username ko. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, I publish a short newsletter that summarizes all of the last 48 hours worth of news that's relevant to the Filipino cryptocurrency investor. Obviously, there's a lot of AXIE Infinity related stuff in there recently because that's very, very relevant, but generally it's more broad than that. So, hopefully it'll help you on your journey if you're just starting out. And keep safe out there, everyone. Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you. Commissioner, plug mo na yung yung ginagawa niyo. Website, sec.gov.ph.
Yeah, sec.gov.ph. Sorry, I don't have my own YouTube thing, so or anything like that. I can't. So, SEC website na lang, or the SEC Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you. Floi Wycoco. Saan ka pwedeng i-follow ng mga tao? Of course, it's TGFI on Facebook. You're on mute.
He's on mute.
Okay. Wait. Okay, so they can follow me in Facebook. So that's Floi Wycoco. So we just had our day 1 in Finlit Summit, Financial Literacy Summit. We had 12,000 attendees today. So tomorrow there's day 2. So just please join us, www.pgfipage.com/Finlit2021. Our speakers, we have David Almirol, tomorrow of Multisys. We have Ding Dong Dantes. We have speakers from Kumu. So maraming pa sila. So that's a free event. So join us there.
Awesome. Warren.
Oh yeah, I'm on Twitter and of course ABS-CBN. So boy pa kami. You can still watch us online.
Ganito ka baliw sa show na to. Yes, boy pa ang ABS. Okay. Mel.
I have a weekly business show in Hong Kong. Some of the stories I post on my YouTube channel, so you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. But yeah, the really interesting ones, I do a crypto series, but it's a business show. So some of the interesting segments I put on there. Yeah.
Thank you. Edric.
Yeah, so catch my handles, right? Edric Mendoza on Facebook or Instagram. And I also continue on the advocacy. So if you want to catch the Facebook feed on Fundamentals, it's a small program also that I'm kind of helping host and talk personal finance about. So catch me there if you like, guys. But this has been awesome. I love how you said Warren Boy pa, ABS-CBN. Woohoo!
Edric, may podcast ka, di ba?
Yeah, I'm not as active, so I won't talk about it just yet.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, it's been a fun night. Thank you, everybody. I know I've taken up a lot of your time. Please follow us. Also, please don't forget, we've started our own company, Empower and Transform, provides financial education and makes financial advisory accessible and cheap for everybody. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again Saturday next week. Same time, 8 to 9. Oh, wait, picture taking. Okay, can we do one quick picture taking for everybody? Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Yes, all right. Thank you.